I'm actually a massive fan of Linkin Park, and I love the song. I remember when it first came out for Transformers, I went, man, I'd love to play that and do something with that. Linkin Park have got this thing where they behind the standard rock song, I guess, like they've got this underlying layering of percussion. Now, whether that's sound effects or whether it's loops that you'd expect in dance songs and stuff like that, or just standard sound effects or percussion or whatever, they've got this driving thing behind the actual standard rock band, and I love that about their stuff. What I wanted to do with this one was introduce something which I hadn't done yet. So basically what I did was I started off with basically using the guitar as a percussive instrument. So it's similar to the way, let's say, Tom Emanuel would play. So I'm actually using the guitars to actually get different sounds. There's actually two patterns running at the same time. One's panned hard left, one's panned hard right. And this was again an influence from Linkin Park themselves, where they have the percussive elements and they're overlaying them. So I wanted to do the same thing with this track, and basically with the percussion, the way I approached it was the same way I'd do it live when I'm playing in front of an audience. And I'd use basically I'd use a looper to do this. I'd set up the groove. With that basic groove where I'm getting the bass note, I'm actually hand slapping the strings, and then I'm slapping my thumb on the bottom of the body there, and then the higher conga type of slap is actually my hand on the back of the body. And basically what I did was I set that up for 2 bars, or set up a tempo, and then played that and hit that percussion in using the looper pedal. And then on the repeat, I give myself 2 bars to play it back in, and then hit the repeat, where I basically changed the tones up a bit, where I was using my thumb on this part of the body, a slap on the scratch plate there, and also down here on the higher end of the body with a. And basically, I've got those 2 elements running together all the way through it, and that's what creates the percussive undertone of this arrangement. The main lick itself isn't anything, I didn't really do anything with that. I wanted to keep that pretty similar to the original. So basically all I did was work out a way of playing it where I could keep the notes sustaining. And I've got no idea whether that's the way that Linkin Park actually play that or not. But that's just the way that I worked it out. Yeah, the verses was actually, on this one, I actually planned it out very, very carefully what I was going to do. So I was basically starting off with an E minor 7, and I'm hammering on with the second and third finger there, to a G5, or a G suspended second actually. It's the G5 the first half, and then I'm adding that A, so that'll be the sus2. And then I'm playing D up here, which is basically based on the root 5 shape, to the A, which is basically an A sus2 as well. And the first time through it's pretty simple. Second time I get a bit more adventurous. And on that one, all I'm basically doing is, I had that melody kick coming into my head when I was playing the first part of the lick, and that part there is basically running down. It's a lick that I use a lot, basically playing off the third in the D, and then the harmonising on the A, which is something similar to what I did in the last 2 tracks as well. I think I said I did that a lot. Use a root 6 chord and basically harmonise it while playing in thirds. Yeah, and then the next part it goes back to the standard riff. So that part there again is just a similar to the last lick on the D, back to the A, and then the C, the for the pre-chorus. I'm basically hitting C at 9. Basically using thirds up in the harmony lick there, to a version of D. Now this is actually a D11 add 9, so the 11 would be the G there, and then the add 9 is the E. There's no fifth in this chord, so there's actually no A in it. So this is a chord I tend to use a lot as a substitution for a standard D major, so it's a D11 add 9, and it's one of the chords I look at in my in the alternate chord guide, actually, you can get on the website. Yeah, so it's a D11 add 9. So yeah, C add 9. The chorus is just basically, I started with an add 9. So I said E to a D to an A. So basically what I try to do is keep minimal movement. So E, D, and so the G is just a standard G major triad, so based on the G, so the first, third, and fifth, the G, B, and D. Back to the E minor add 9, the G, the D add 9 to a standard A triad with the E in the bass. Now, when you know a lot of movement in the chords like that, actually, I prefer the sound of that. I like that when that happens. So that's the reason I went for this type of progression. On the same time, it made it a little bit confusing if I really wasn't focusing at the time, because yeah, it's very easy to get tongue-tied on those types of progressions. Yeah, the interlude section's an E7 sharp 9 sharp 5, so it's an E7 altered. So it's very simple. I let the percussion sort of take over here, like what happens in the original track, but yeah, the whole chord is just E7 altered sharp 9 sharp 5. Yeah, when it came to the solo on this one, I wanted to try a different approach, which I hadn't used yet. So, you know, the last one ended up pretty jazzy. So basically, what I wanted to do was take it from a more rock perspective. So, although I was playing on an acoustic guitar, my approach was the same way that I would if it was an electric. I didn't hold back at all. I really let it rip. So it started off with basically a hammer-on trill thing on from the E to the D. I think the harmonic there, which is, and that next lead, I was basically just trying to suggest really get the minor happening. So you're playing off the B to the C. Then I went into the straight thing, or a sweeping thing. So it was basically just a straight E minor shape, which was based on, say, the root 5 minor. So you got the 1, 3, 5, 7, and then I basically repeat the lick with dropping the 7th and going up to the tonic, which is one of my favourite types of breaking licks. So I basically come into the talk position or I basically come into the pentatonic position off the talk fret. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I actually had a full sweep in here too, which I didn't do on this guitar. Actually, I performed this one on my Godin, just so I had the solo anyway, just so I had more stretching room. But I basically came into a sweep. It was based on just a straight D major triad, the D, F sharp, and the A, so 1, 3, 5, and then coming back up to the D on the tonic, the 3, and then again to the A for the 5th. And I actually descended that, so I actually ran in from some sort of lick up here in the pentatonic or Aeolian position, Aeolian being the natural minor, and then slid up into the D to come down to the sweep. So it's actually quite an easy sweep to get around, especially if you haven't swept, if you haven't used the sweeping technique before. So you basically your picking hand is just basically raking down through the strings, and when you hit that high string, you just reverse it and pull it back up again. So it's a down, 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 up, down, up, up. Based on that standard position, so a straight triad followed by like a open D shape. So it's a C shape and a D shape together. Alright, what's the next track? Well, I think I might try something even newer again. So yeah, I'm gonna have fun with a bit of the next one. I think I'm gonna try Counting Stars by One Republic. Yeah, that one's got me intrigued a little bit. I think I can actually do something kind of cool with that, which is going to take it away from the original version. So yeah, I'll get stuck into that and see how it goes.
So give me